we're back, and we are live on Trunk Nation. Talking rock with you as we do every day, 3 to 5 Eastern, right here on Faction Talk, Channel 103. So we have the Anthrax guys in my studio when they started that tour with Black Label Society in Vegas not long ago. And, of course, at that time, the whole Pantera thing was announced, and we got a little bit on that from Charlie and Zakk. And now the first show happened in Mexico over the weekend, and I thought it'd be great if Charlie would be willing to come on and tell us how it all went. And he said yes, he would, and he joins us live right now. Charlie Benante from now Anthrax and Pantera. Man, that sounds weird to say, but does that sound weird, Charlie?
Yeah, it's kind of weird to me to put myself in that, under that Anthrax and Pantera. But I don't know. From last night, from the other show, Friday night, dude, it was so awesome, and I'm still buzzing about it.
Well, let me ask you something. So, where are you right now?
I am in Monterrey, Mexico.
So you're in Mexico. So did you this Hell in Heaven festival? Did you play with both Anthrax and Pantera in the same weekend?
I did. Friday I played with Pantera, then Sunday night I played with Anthrax.
I thought about that when you first got announced to be doing this, and I'm assuming, and I already know Pantera is going to be on a bunch of things next summer, that this could be a pretty great opportunity for you where you could probably do that a lot, because I know you still want to do a lot with Anthrax too. Is there going to be a lot of that on your schedule, do you envision?
From what I see now, it looks like there's a lot of Pantera dates in 23, and then with Metallica announcing the summer stadium shows that we're going to be a part of, I'll be doing that as well.
But what about Anthrax? Is there going to be a lot of scenarios where you're going to do what you just did this weekend with like one day Anthrax and one day with Pantera?
I mean, if Anthrax, if it works out, I'll do it, but we would never play the same day.
That would kill you, I would think.
I think so.
That would be a lot, yeah. So tell me what this was like for you to do this. I mean, take me through it. I mean, how did it feel to be up there playing those songs? How do you feel the band did? How do you feel the whole thing went?
So basically we get up there and there's a big kabuki curtain in front of us, and it's the four of us just up there, and like Philip came up to the drum riser and we just had this moment where we were just, shaking hands and just kind of, we were so excited, and then I looked to Rex and then I looked to Zakk, and the four of us just had this connection, and before I knew it, boom, we were right into playing a new level, and it was off from that point, and I was looking at the set list and I saw the next song coming up, and I was excited about that song, and then that song would finish. I looked down and I'm like, oh, I fucking love this song. Yeah. And then it was that all night for me, just getting super hyped up about the next songs and what was coming up. So I enjoyed myself. And the one thing I spoke to those guys about like months ago, I said, man, let's just try and be in the moment and just enjoy it, and that's what we all did. We just kind of enjoyed it.
Who made the set list? Did you guys all come together on that? Did Phil just pick that? I mean, where did the stuff you decided to play, at least in that first show, how was that put together?
Actually, Rex, myself, and Philip, we were on a call, and we basically came up with the set list, and I remember saying to them, you guys are really close to this stuff from my point of view, like a fan. Man, these are the songs that, of course, must be played. Of course, they agreed with that. But then there was some deep cuts that we wanted to do, too. And they were welcome to it. And we even talk about adding more songs to the set list, like, for next year. So everybody's pretty much open. I mean, the way I kind of looked at it is let's try and hit every record. Let's try and do a song from every record at least, So that's what we're trying to do.
I didn't, of course, I wasn't at the show, but I knew instantly right after you guys played, there'd be stuff all over the internet. And there was, even, I don't know if you know this, even before you guys played, I guess some fan got into the sound check or something and shot some video from you guys pretty far away during sound check. I don't know if that was the night before or what. Did you see any of that?
Yeah, I saw that. That was Thursday night when we went to do like a sound check rehearsal, and we saw all these people like from far away, and we knew they were going to be filming it. But you know, what can you do? We tried to keep it a secret, but you know how it is. You can't.
And what about there was a moment in the show, and again, not being there, I'm just stuff I heard about or read online. So you guys had a moment in the show for Vinny and Dime. Was it during Planet Caravan? Did you do that?
Correct. Before Planet Caravan starts, we have this video that runs with a little piece of the song Cemetery Gate, and basically a tribute to Dime. I mean, Dime and Vinny are all over the place, you know. They're on my drum kit. You know, Zakk has patches with them, but even in spirit, they are there. And before we went on, Sterling Winfield, who was very close to Don and Vinny, he basically engineered the last 3 records that Pantera did. He brought me a pair of Vinny's old gloves, and he brought me one of Daryl's old wristbands that he wore, and I immediately put the wristband on and played the show with that wristband, and I put the gloves in my pocket, so I had both of them with me that night.
Charlie, what was the prep like leading up to doing this first show? Like, as far, how much rehearsals did you do? How did you, when you finally got in the room with the other 3 guys, how quickly did it all come together? Tell me a little bit about getting it up and going.
You know, when I talked to Philip back, it was like the end of December about this. That day, I hung up the phone and I immediately started to just, you know, get my head into Pantera mode and just figure things out, because I knew these songs, but I didn't know how to approach playing the songs. How am I going to do this? And the one thing I wanted to do is I just wanted to play it like Vinny. I wanted, when the fans hear it, when anybody heard it, I wanted them to be able to close their eyes and, you know, I wanted it to sound like Vinny.
Well, from what I heard online, you absolutely pulled that off. I mean, it's such a distinctive way that he played, and the drums are such obviously a huge part of those songs that you absolutely nailed it from what I could hear from just what I heard. After the first show, how did you feel about how you did? Did you feel that way? Were you confident in what you did? Did you finish that first show saying, well, I got to work on this, or I didn't? I mean, because us as fans, it sounds great, but I know you as musicians, most are pretty nitpicky and perfectionist about stuff. How did you feel about you personally, your first performance?
I mean, I felt good about it. There was a couple of things that I'm going to, you know, just play a little differently. Not so much the parts, but I think we were all a little bit, you know, the adrenaline was going. I wanted to just pull some songs back a bit, you know, and but you know, tonight we're playing here tonight, and I think I'm going to just kind of relax a little more and just kind of settle down. I mean, it was the first show, so it was expected. You know, we're human. I'm not playing to a click track, you know. So tonight, I think I'm going to lay back a little bit more. I'm psyched about tonight because we have, you know, Judas Priest is on the bill, Merciful Fate. I'm excited to see them.
Are you guys closing at these? Are you one of the headlining acts?
Yeah.
So you're doing what? Like, how long's the set? About 70 minutes or so?
Yeah, like 75 minutes. I think we played like maybe 80 minutes the other night.
And as far as what you played and what you're scheduled to play tonight, have you and the band talked about keeping this pretty much as the set for now, or do you want to change stuff in and out as you go?
We're going to keep it for this run here in South America. We're going to keep it as is. but next year, I could see a song or two being dropped in place for another song. We already talked about that the other day.
And what's it like for you playing with Rex? I mean, for the longest time, you played with Frankie and Anthrax for decades, and you're locked in with him as a bass player. But obviously, you're locking in playing with a whole different guy. What was it like syncing up with Rex?
Well, that's the thing, man. I didn't know how we would kind of come together and when we would make the connection. But I got to be honest with you, when I went down to New Orleans in September, and it was just me, Rex, and Philip. And after the first day, Rex and I were we had such a connection. And he said to me, he's like, dude, when I close my eyes, I feel like it's Vinny up there. So that made me feel so good when he said that. And Philip said the same thing too. So I was so happy about that because honestly, I mean, I really did my homework. I mean, we're talking these tiny little nuances, things that maybe people wouldn't hear, I'm putting them in there because it's important to me to deliver it just like Vinny would.
And what about the kit you're playing versus what you play with Anthrax? Is it the same, or is it similar to what Vinny had, or from a gear standpoint, are you playing something the same kit you always play? Tell me about that.
No, it's a totally different configuration. I'm playing more like Vinny's kit, the way Vinny played it, because I felt I wanted to play the kit like that because it gave me a bit more of a challenge, and I can't add more drums to it because I just wanted to have the two toms in the front, the floor toms, so I'm just sticking totally to the way he had it, and I want to play exactly like he had it, and it sounds exactly like he had it too, so that's how I approach this.
And how do you think Zakk did? I mean, from what I heard, he did great, but he's in the same boat as you. He's got to channel something that somebody did that was absolutely extraordinary. I mean, obviously the common bond here is you guys were all tight and all friends, but still tackling the material as a listener, as a Pantera fan. How did you think Zakk handled everything?
I thought Zakk was awesome. I mean, we spent over 2 weeks in New Orleans, the four of us, and like every night we would play and play and play, and then afterwards we would just hang out and talk and just bond with each other. And by the time that we got to the end of the rehearsals, man, we were just kind of on fire. And I thought Zakk did an excellent job. And, Zakk throws Zakk in it too, And for me too, it's like I'm doing it as much like Vinny as possible. And then sometimes I'll put a little bit of myself in this part, but I don't want to do something that people are going to go, oh, dude, you overplayed that part. You know what I mean? It's like I got to keep it. I got to be, respectful to the song.
And what was look, I've been to Mexico a bunch of times for rock events. I know the fans there. You've gone there countless times, and with Anthrax, the fans in Mexico are unbelievably passionate about metal and the stuff they love. That metal show aired in Mexico, so I had a lot of opportunity to go there. And even when I got there, a couple times there were people at the airport waiting for me. It's crazy. I can't even imagine what it was like for you guys to go there as Pantera. What was it? And you're still in Mexico. What's the reaction been like from the fans? What was it like in the audience from where you sat watching the crowd and just being there and hearing from fans about this?
Oh, that's the thing, because we would always say we tour in Europe, we tour in America, you tour Canada, you go to Japan, but when you come to Mexico, South America, it's a totally different ballgame, man, because these people, like you said, they're so passionate about their music. And when we started to kick in, man, you couldn't even, it was so loud, like the amount of like the cheering and stuff. And it was just amazing. On Sunday night with Anthrax, I mean, they were singing the song about us. Because, Scott was like, thank you for being here. It's our 40th anniversary. And then they started singing their song. And it just blew us away. It's amazing. I mean, I wish everybody can understand this and have this type of feeling. But when you come down here, these people are going to treat you like gold.
Yeah, they are super, super, super into it. I got to tell you, man, I mean, I saw Pantera. First time I saw Pantera was at a club in Asbury Park, New Jersey. There's probably 40 people there. Nobody knew who they were, called the Fast Lane. And I saw them. So I saw them a lot over the years. So, I'm close to your age. So we kind of grew up with the whole thing. But what's really cool about you guys doing this is, as you know, there's a huge segment of a fan base that never had the opportunity to see the band live, including my producer, Joel, who's like, he's in his mid-30s. He never had a chance to see this stuff played live. So to me, that aspect, beyond the fact that you and Zakk are friends, and of course I know Rex and Phil as well, and I'm happy for all of you guys to have the opportunity to do this. I think it's really cool that, although it's certainly, with all respect to anybody in the band, we would all agree it cannot be the same because it's half not the same band, but it's clearly gonna be great. It's already been great, and it's great that younger people will have a chance to see what I'm calling basically Pantera 2.0.
Yeah, it was never a reunion. How could it be a reunion without Vinny and Dime here? I mean, and it's, I sometimes people will send me something and I see things online and it's so disrespectful to both Daryl and Vinny, and it's so disrespectful to us too. And it's just like, man, if you don't want to come, you don't have to come. But one of the first things I said to Philip on the phone, I said, this to me is more on an emotional level than any other level. I mean, this means a lot to me personally, to go out there and represent those guys and represent the Pantera name. And that's all it ever was for me. I don't care about, financially and stuff like that. This to me, I had to do this. I didn't want to see anybody else playing these songs but me up there.
When did you first get the call to do this, Charlie? When did this first hit on your radar? What was the first approach to you when you thought this would be a possibility, and who initially reached out to you about it?
It was like December last year. Philip, I would talk to Philip, here and there and stuff, and then he called me and we just had to talk about it. And then Rex called me after that. And I was so excited about it, and I said, thank you for thinking of me. And they were like, there was nobody else. And that made me feel really good because they knew my relationship with Daryl and they knew my relationship with Vinny. And I love those guys, and I love these two guys just as much.
Wow. So that the initial reach out for this was a year ago. So it basically was a year from idea to playing the first show.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. And where do you see it going, Charlie? I mean, I know that there was, I think it was you in a different interview or something said you'd be open to making new music. I mean, do you see this as being like an ongoing long-term thing, or do you see it really being as like a couple years to celebrate Pantera and then that's that? What's your vision for it personally?
I mean, that's how I see it. We're celebrating the music of this band. I mean, that interview, someone said, man, it'd be great to hear new music. And like jokingly, I said, oh yeah, I got tons of riffs. That's exactly how that happened. It wasn't like, oh, we're going to make new music, because I'm sure people read that and they were like, there is no Pantera music, without Diamond Vinny. It's like, no, I didn't say it like that. So, but who knows? I think we're just taking this kind of day by day, let's finish this South American run and then recharge for next year. And that's it. And this is a celebration of the music of Pantera, and we're celebrating Vinny and Daryl.